Hello, I will be talking about comedy in media research. Comedy is a genre that is supposed to incite laughter and amusement. It places characters in exciting situations. Comedy in films and shows are supposed to make someone laugh and have positive endings. Comedy can be divided into multiple genres like a romance comedy or a melodrama. Mise-en-scène is a very important factor for these comedy films. Comedic directors use different things of mise-en-scène to put their film together. For example, they might use a bright lighting to set the mood as happy, or costumes can be bright colors, but costumes also vary on the plot, but usually it's bright colors. The setting for comedy films can be set anywhere, but most typically it's set in like a suburban city, like a school or neighborhood. The areas are usually like a happy place, there's a lot of laughter around and excitement, and the sun will shine a lot. These areas could be more rural and have very large houses. Sometimes they are set in cities, but it's usually all bright too. The visual styles for some comedy films, they usually have a light, modern, or normal colors. They use bright colors, such as yellows or pinks. Sometimes they use oranges. It's all very happy type colors. Themes in comedy films that we usually see are based off the plot, but the main one in most movies are happy endings. Others include laziness, stupidity, love, friendship, winning, and there's beyond, but most of them we see are happy endings. The ideology in comedy films usually reflect the individual social needs of a group, culture, class, or individual within the film. They all vary because of the plot. Characters in these comedy films, there are many different types of characters in comedy films. There's always a protagonist in these comedy films. There sometimes can be more than one protagonist. And there's sometimes an antagonist, not really, but sometimes. Some types of characters include the lovable loser, the logical smart one, the dumb one, the nerdy one, and so on. Narratives in comedy films introduces characters and direct us through impressions of their character. Narrative is important so we can understand the characters while they're going through their journey. Cinematography in comedy films, there tends to be a lot of different shots to show the characters and the location. There's a lot of close-ups, long shots, medium shots. They usually use a natural lighting or a bright lighting, like we were talking about before. For the mood, they use bright lighting, so they usually end up using bright lighting for the cinematography as well. And then for shots, they usually do close-ups of the face and long shots, medium shots from like shoulder length. For special effects, some comedy movies use special effects, but not really. Like in action comedy films, maybe they can use special effects. There can be prosthetic makeup, animatronics, or live-action weather elements. Movies like Men in Black and Back to the Future use a lot of special effects. Sound in comedy films are like the soundtracks in comedy films vary for each movie, but they're usually upbeat or positive music. And in very few movies and some comedy television shows, they even have laughter playing in the background. Like in the TV show Friends, there's laughter in the background, and so on. Some classical comedies are Dumb and Dumber, Mrs. Doubtfire, The Parent Trap. I've seen all of these movies and I agree that they are comedies. Some modern comedies that we see are Mean Girls, Miss Congeniality, and The Princess Diaries. I've also seen all these movies, and they are comedic. Some award-winning comedies are La La Land, which is a romance comedy, Jojo Rabbit, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I've only seen La La Land and Jojo Rabbit, but I assure you that Once Upon a Hollywood is also a nice comedy movie. My personal favorite films that are comedy is Cruella. I really like that movie. 10 Things I Hate About You. I've seen that movie multiple times. It's very funny. And then Ocean's 8 as well. Ocean's 8 is more like a heist comedy type movie, but I really like it. The audience for comedy movies are mostly for all ages. Some can be for children and some can be for adults. It's usually based on the plot. Some comedy films use different humor and it depends on that. Like some might use very dark humor, which is mostly for adults, and some might use light humor, which is for children. Thank you.